Kenny, how do you feel now that you've signed this new deal?
Great. It's obviously it's a load off your mind. You can look forward. You've got the season. Concentrate, fully focused on getting us back to the contributing and us getting back to the top flight. And then again, obviously, you've got next year where you can really go and hopefully challenge and win the league back.
What would it mean to you to be playing in the top flight again?
It would be great, like I say. I mean, it was a discussion I'd maybe never expected so early in the manager's time here, but it gives me the opportunity, like you say, play at the top flight again, have a real go at winning that league back, which for me, ideally, I would love to finish here. But you've got to be performing, you've got to be contributing to that team on a match day, and that says hopefully the manager has seen enough in the first few months of the season that he feels that I can play a big part in his team moving forward.
It's a short favour. He's not waited until 2 months for the end of the season. He's done it early. He's signed up. He's obviously pleased with what he'll do.
Well, that's it. I mean, I take it as a big compliment in the fact that he has done it so early. The fact because he's in training every day. He must feel him contributing to his team moving forward, which is big for me. So yeah, absolutely delighted that it's done, and like I said, I can get the head on, fully focused on being fit and contributing as much as I can to the team to get us back to the top flight.
Was there ever a point that you?
I was just going to say, we talked about there about winning that title back. Was that you mean?
Yeah,
is that what you want to do before you retire?
That's what we want to do. If we want to make sure we win the league this year, get back to the top flight, and ultimately we need to win that league back. That's what the fans expect. That's what us as players are demanding on each other. That we're not going up, don't want to be up there and just challenge our top 6 team. We need to be challenging for that league.
Is that what you want before you retire?
That would be great.
Was there ever a point that you thought you might not get this opportunity, that the new contract offer might not come?
No, to be honest, I was not thinking about anything at all. It was firmly focused on playing and contributing, and if I was doing that, then I was very hopeful that I would get the opportunity to stay past this year. Like I say, just delighted it's done now, and there's no thought behind that now, and that will just go into next year. I need to make sure I'm contributing next year so I can stay another year.
How long do you think you can keep playing the manager? She's been in saying you think she's got another 2 or 3 years in you?
Yeah, listen, again, it's one of them where you go year by year. I mean, I would have no plans for the foreseeable future hanging them up at all. I feel good. Yeah, you pick up little injuries, but so does everybody. It doesn't matter what age you are as a footballer, you're always going to get little niggles. So as long as you can steer clear of any serious injury, I've no plans to hang it up. And yeah, 2 and 3 years, why not?
How much are you enjoying the coaching side of it, with the under-20s?
To be honest, it has been great. I mean, it's very limited. Like, I mean, the manager says it's trying to do as much as I can with the lads, but you still need to make sure you're preparing properly for games. You need to be taking your recovery days and your rest days. So it's been great. It's just a little insight into the other side of the game. It's thankful to Craig, Durante and David for allowing me to help when I can, and they've been great. They've allowed me to get involved as much as I want.
Have you had to manage your body differently, thinking differently about how you train as the years go on?
Yeah, well, listen, again, it's hard when you train like we train, and at the intensity and the tempo that we train at. It's hard to take the foot off the gas. But I think when you get a little bit older, that you have to look at that, because ultimately, training is very important, because you do. I think the results and performances on a Saturday are a byproduct of how you train. So it's important that you still get to some level of intensity, but again, the most important thing is being ready on a 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So however you can manage your body and training and sessions through the week to make sure you're at your peak for the Saturday is the most important thing. So in that respect, maybe a little bit has to change over the last few years.
Have you been taking advice from Davy Beer on that?
Well, there you go. He played, was it 41? He was still playing it, so there's no better man to speak to than Big Davy. Obviously, I played with him. He was still a fantastic player for this club at the latter stage of his career. So yeah, you've got obviously the advice. Again, that's one thing he did say. Like, obviously, days off and recovery days are important, but when you get that little bit older, you need to maybe just keep ticking over. He did say he did feel after maybe if they were given 2-3 days off in a row, he maybe did feel it took a little bit longer to get going. So that's one thing I've definitely took on board when we do get these opportunities to take like kind of rest days, 2, 3, 4 days, just to make sure I'm still lively and still kind of keep ticking over.
Alex McLeish said you could play into your 40s. Do you feel you could?
Well, at the moment I do, but if ask me in a couple of years and we'll see. But listen, I feel great. I mean, despite having a little niggly injury over the last couple of weeks, I feel great. The training has been definitely beneficial. I think I feel great going into games. After games, I'm kind of not quite as sore after games as well, and I think that's down to the level of training that we do. So I don't see any reason why not. Obviously I've got the contract for another 18-20 months now, and for me I've even at the end of that I've no plans to hang them up after that.
The manager was praising the influence you have in the dressing room, just being the elder statesman, 36 next month, and what you give to the young players. Is it more leading by example, or do you put the arm around the shoulder and give the young players advice?
I think you do a bit of both. I'd like to think the way I train and things is it does maybe set the example of how you need to go about your business like day in day out. But we have got a really good group of boys. As I said, since the manager come in, he wouldn't allow the standards to drop at all. There's been maybe once or twice this season where he's had to stop the training and say, look, that's not been good enough, and straight away the lads, yep, you're right, respond and take it back up to our usual standards. But it's one where you go and speak to lads if they're maybe not playing, or because obviously we have rotated the team quite a bit this season, so some lads might get a bit down if they're left out, or maybe need a wee G up if they're playing, or they might be down on themselves, whatever it is. If you need to put an arm round or give somebody a kick up the backside, then that's what you're there to do.
You were talking about potentially playing into your 40s, but when will it come the stage of Kenny Miller wanting to be a manager or still being a player?
Well, that's it. That's at the moment. There's no question, because like I said, I've no plans to then other than playing. Yeah, when I'm helping out with the 20s again, that's for me. That's what it is. It's helping out. It's not doing any kind of great level of coaching. It's a little insight into what the other side of the game is for me. And I thoroughly enjoy it, but for me I'm firmly focused on being a player and contributing to this team moving forward to this year, next year, and hopefully a few years after that.
And away in the future, maybe managing this club one day?
Well, listen, that would be fantastic. Obviously, as I've said, management is definitely a road I want to go down, whether it means I have to go into coaching, assistant, working with youths first, but for me ultimately it'll be first team management, and if you could come back here in the future, that would be the dream come true.
You had to change your game at all, just when you're getting older, perhaps, maybe things getting not quite as quick as...
No, well, I think again it's the same kind of thing as the train. I think as you, not necessarily just when you get older, as you move through your career, your game develops. You would like to think you become better, more kind of aware of what, not just your position, but what other positions about you require for you and what you require for them as well. So it's I would say the game's definitely, my game's changed. Whether it's through age or not, I wouldn't say like my body's not willing. I would just say maybe through age I've developed and I've kind of worked out different ways to play. That's what it's all about. When you're playing, you work out where you can hurt your opponent. Simple as that. Where you can help your teammates out, and that kind of side, that game awareness side, definitely develops with age.
Mark was in here saying he's had to perhaps manage you in terms of what games you play and how often you play. Is that a frustrating thing? I suppose you still want to play every single week. Sometimes the manager says no.
It is. The manager knows my stance on it. He knows that I would love to play every minute in every game. Listen, realistically, nobody's going to play every minute every game. But you want to play as a footballer. You want to be playing on a match day. That's what you train for all week. You need to go out on a Saturday and play in front of the fans, go and win a game, score a goal. That's what you want to do. So when your kind of leash is put on you a little bit, whether it be to help you out or not, you've just again, I said, I'm delighted with the way it's went this season. Yep, would I like to have played more games? Of course I would. Would like to play more minutes and score more goals? Of course I would. But absolutely delighted, and like I said, in terms of the contributing that I'm making, whether it's a starter or as a substitute, I'm more than happy than playing my part at the moment.
We've seen over the last few weeks the topic of title stripping come up again. With obviously the EBT decision, is your view on that changed at all?
No, listen, that's something that's out with our control. It's been ongoing for the last few years now, but we're just firmly focused on game to game, and I know it's cliche, but that's how the manager wouldn't have it any other way. That we're firmly focused on Alloa, and that's anything we can control, which is to go and beat Livingston. It's to go and beat Livingston on Saturday, and then move on to the next game after that.
Your former teammate Dan O'Dea said it was cheating. How do you feel about that?
Again, people will have their comments on it, and that's what you guys do. You go and try and find someone to have a statement. For us, I know how hard I had to work to earn the titles that I am, and for me that's good enough.